Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Weight Loss Warrior podcast. This is the show where we share inspirational, transformational journeys, people improving their mindset, losing weight, and leading to a happier, healthier life. Today on the show, I have got special guest Jamal, who's based in Sunderland and is on a mission to become the healthiest he has been in quite some time. Jamal, welcome to the show. How are you today?
What's going on, my G? How's it going, Carl? I'm good. Good to be here. Thank you for inviting me. My pleasure.
It's really nice to have you on the show. And I was saying just before we hit record that, I had only just found your account literally today, and I was really inspired by it. I love your content. I love your videos, the way you share the journey that you're on. And yeah, you're a man who just wants to take action. You're like, let's do it. Let's go for it. Let's record an episode and talk about your journey, because I think for you, you're not at the end of your journey. And this is something so important for me sharing with our listeners, because it's really inspiring. It's great to hear somebody who's done the full journey, but sometimes a little bit intimidating as well. It's like you can sometimes feel like, why is everyone else able to succeed but not me? So by having someone like yourself who's on that journey right now, I think you're going to have some insights and be able to share some things today that are going to really, really help people listening to this episode. So why don't you start, Jamal? Tell us a little bit about yourself, please.
All right. Well, I'm Jamal. Online, I go by Jamal Get Right. I'm on the Instagram, YouTube, TikToks, all the major socials. And I'm a dude who's on a weight loss journey. I've currently lost around 45 to 50 pounds. I can't remember specifically the number. And I have a lot more work to do because my starting weight was 536 pounds. And my goal weight, crazy as it sounds, is 200 pounds. That's like 330 pound-ish of weight I'm trying to lose. And I'm down like 40 or 50 or so. So I'm pretty much in the very early days of my weight loss journey, but it's going very, very well. And I'm getting a lot of support and growth on social media as well, which is also helping me to stay in the pocket. So I'm just going to keep pushing. And my slogan is, I'm just going to keep getting right and showing people my journey along the way. I'm not a coach or anything. I'm not some motivational speaker or anything. I'm just documenting my journey as best as I can and as authentically as I can and sharing it for the world to see. And people seem to enjoy it.
You know, Joel, you say you're not a motivational speaker, but I'm gonna challenge that, because anyone who sees your videos, it's hard not to become motivated by watching it, because
thank you.
The pacing, the way you talk about your journey so honestly, so openly, and it's just really interesting to watch from like a selfish perspective to see you doing it. But just you talk about things and confront things that anyone on a weight loss journey is going to come up against, and you do it in a way that's honest. And I think that's really refreshing to see, and it is motivating. So I'm not going to let you say you're not a motivational coach, because you are motivating people by doing this. And so you've lost an amazing amount of weight already, 40, 50 pounds already gone. But I guess when you have a longer term goal of wanting to lose, I think you said 300 pounds.
330.
330, sorry. It must at sometimes feel like you've got a very long way to go. So being able to stay resilient, stay on top of that, staying in the game must be quite challenging at times. Can we talk, before we get onto that, can we talk a little bit about what led you to become at the weight you were when you decided to lose weight? What were you struggling with? What was causing the weight gain for you specifically?
Well, I mean, let's state and obvious, eating very unhealthy food. But I'm trying to, it's hard to even answer that question because I don't really know what it was. Like, It's not like people have like a breakup or a divorce or some disaster they go through and they just, they fall off the wagon. But it's not really been like that for me. I've just been a guy that's always liked unhealthy food and I've always eaten it. And just maybe it's the lack of knowledge of the right things to do and how much I'm actually supposed to eat and what is actually healthy. So it's just been something that I've done for most of my life. There's been some good years. There's been some years where I've lost a lot of weight as well and I've been in pretty good shape. And there's been a lot of bad years where I haven't. But throughout most of that, I just really haven't had the knowledge or understanding of the things that I'm eating and the effects that they have on me until the last few years or so, the last year. And now I'm just starting to put things into action. So I don't really have this crazy story where I went through some traumatic experience and it made me depressed. I've never really felt depression as far as I know. I just enjoy eating food. I like chicken wings. I like chips. I like them with mayonnaise, which is like the worst thing you can have. And that's what I ate for the most part. And then bags of Doritos and stuff. And I just never really had any knowledge of this, like calorie counting and stuff like that and macros and things like that until very recently. And now I'm like, it's very hard to go back to that now that you have an understanding. So It's hard to answer that question, really.
No,
It's
no.
just life's journey that's got me to this point, I should say, really.
Okay. And it makes sense what you say. I mean, obviously, yeah, for some there is an emotional traumatic event that happens, or somebody who has disordered eating or eats emotionally, then you can usually tie it to perhaps not one specific thing that's happened, but a number of things. If it could be related to depression or to stress or a number of sadness. But for yourself, as that hasn't happened, has it been an accumulation over time? Then has your weight crept up? It hasn't happened all of a sudden. It's something that. Well, let me ask. Like, when did you start feeling or noticing that you were overweight compared to people around you?
Since I was a kid, like
Okay.
every year of school or preschool that I can think of, I've always been the biggest, either the tallest or the tallest and the heaviest person in the class.
Okay.
Always the heaviest, but usually the tallest or the second tallest, but always the heaviest,
Okay.
as far back as my brain goes. And
And so
that's
that
never changed.
that's always just been there as part of your life. So being heavier than school friends, probably family members as well, being in
Yeah.
your social circle, and
Mhm.
that's just continued.
Yeah.
So
Big Jamal. Everywhere I go, I'm Big Jamal. Eventually, I started getting sick of that name. Like anytime I make new friends, it's like, yo, Big Jamal. Ah, stop calling me that. But yeah, I was always Big Jamal.
yeah, and if we could touch on that, I mean, you said you've never experienced depression that you're aware of, but let's be honest, being overweight is difficult, and when you are over 500 pounds, I imagine that makes a lot of things in life challenging.
It would if you actually went outside.
Okay, tell
And
me
I
more
didn't
about
go
that.
out much. I didn't go out. I rarely went out until recently. I don't really go out much. I've been, for the most part, a shut-in for the last few years. It's not a term I say proudly, but that's pretty much been the case. Like, even in the town I'm in, there's a lot of places around me which I haven't actually been to. I've just been, for the most part, staying at home, working, watching movies online, eating junk food, and repeat and sleeping.
Okay,
So
so
it'd be difficult if you have to maneuver, sure. But if you're just sitting on the couch all day, it ain't that difficult at all. It's pretty chill. It's-
yeah, and so this, I mean, that has an impact itself, and it was Amy on my last episode actually I was speaking to, and for her defining moment and realizing that she had to actually lose weight and improve her health was when she was in pain walking, and she sat down and the pain stopped, and it clicked in her mind in that moment. She's like, "Hang on a second. If I'm not moving, I'm not in pain. If I'm moving, I'm in pain. So that
oh
means
yeah.
I mean I need to move less to not be in
Mm.
pain, or change my health because she was losing her mobility." So for you, Joanne, and I hope this isn't too personal to us, but you staying inside, was it because you were self-conscious of being overweight, or was it more of a physical thing that it was just too uncomfortable to actually walk and physically go places?
Well, that is true about the pain. Like I had severe lower back pain. I definitely couldn't walk for 10 minutes without
Okay.
having to sit down. And even when I started exercising again, when I first started, that was the case. I do my exercise and 10 minutes in, I'm done. I got to take like a couple minutes break. But in my mind, that wasn't really the reason. It was more of a self conscious thing, and it's just the lifestyle I had gotten used to and just grown into is just staying at home and enjoying the comforts of my home, the things around me and the things that I do.
Mm,
So it's a bit of both, but more of a self conscious thing and just the lifestyle that I built. Um, Sadly, that I'd grown into.
okay. And that's something I watched one of your videos of you talking about going on the bus and
Mm,
having to sit on two seats and worrying that people are going to look at you and judge you because of that. And I completely understand that level of self consciousness because I think I don't think it matters however heavy you are or whatever the thing is that you feel self conscious about. It creates that same feeling of uncomfortableness in you as it would me, as in somebody else who's worried about the way their hair looks, for example. It's still that the brain reacts in the same way. That people are going to look at me, people are going to shun me, people are going to push me out of the tribe, and I'll have this horrible lonely death, which is our caveman mentality. So there was obviously a direct impact to you, your social life, having a relationship with somebody, because if you didn't go out, you weren't really opening the doors to be able to experience that.
mhm.
And was that part of a reason you've decided to make a change now?
Yeah, that's definitely a part of it. I would like to have a family someday. Shout out to my mum. I know she's watching, or she'll be watching. She'll be like, this will be the first time she's hearing that. But yeah, I would like to have a family someday and meet the right person to have some children with at some point. So yeah, that's definitely a part of it. And also a part of it is you can actually make a career out of it. I find if you're successful, like that's and it might sound like people get funny when you start talking about money, especially online. But the truth is, as far my opinion is anything that can help motivate someone to get in shape, take it. Like there's a lot of people who've done significant transformations online who are now, you can be a coach, you can start a community, you can train people in person, you can train people online, you can be a content creator, do live streams. Like there's lots of people I can name right now, but people get funny about money. But at the end of the day, if it's something that can help motivate you, take it, lock in, and that is definitely something that's an option.
I can relate to this completely. And if I dial it back in terms of a weight loss journey, I think finding motivation to change, it doesn't matter where you draw it from. Be it because quite often for so many people who are trying to lose weight, unfortunately, they don't have the self-esteem. And this is partly my experience as well. They're lacking self-esteem, self-belief, and self-confidence and self-worth as well to actually make the change for themselves. So it's kind of a case of I've been this way for so many years. My self-esteem's at rock bottom. I can't find the motivation to pick myself up out of this for me. I don't feel like I'm
Brilliant.
worthy of doing this.
Yeah.
However, if there's a carrot dangling in front of you saying, "Hey, listen, Jamal, if you can lose this weight and get healthier, there's also financial rewards there for you as well
Mm,
that you can take advantage of and
yeah.
get paid well for it." It
Sure.
for me, it doesn't matter what your motivation is.
Mm.
The most
I, I
important thing is that you get healthier.
I try to be as honest and as authentic as possible in my videos. So I tell people straight, if you got a lot of weight to lose, hit the record button, man. Because if you do it and you got those before and after shots, those things almost every single time go viral. People love a glow up, especially on TikTok and Instagram. People love to see someone get their life straight. Like so, a lot of people lose faith in the human race sometimes. Sometimes I do. I like animals more, but when it comes to glow ups and transformations, I'm telling you, they always do well. People love to see people getting their life in order.
Course. And then obviously all the benefits that are going to come from that, because that's another thing. With 330 pounds you want to lose, that first 40 pounds is amazing, but probably, and correct me if I'm wrong, but probably hasn't had any major impact on your physical health so far. You might start to see small differences, but I can't imagine it's had a huge impact, or has it?
Um, or relatively speaking, compared to the amount of weight I'm gonna lose, I will agree with you. But compared, like the way I feel now compared to how I felt when I first started around 45 days ago or whatever it is, I feel way different, man. I've been moving real good. Like I went to the beach the other day, just a couple of days ago, and I walked there for the most part. It's like a 40-minute walk. Like I told you at the start, I wouldn't have been able to do 10 minutes before, nor would I have been self-conscious enough to go to the beach whatsoever. Furthermore, I've started going to the gym recently, and every time I go to the gym, I document it online. And just the last couple of days, whereas at first I was super duper, unconfident. I felt out of place. I felt like everybody looked like action heroes and Gymshark models, and then there's just me, this lump of mass, just slobbing around, sweating out the whole gym and stinking out the place. So I'm like, why am I here? Everybody's jacked. Everybody looks like they're eating some good food right here, and there's me just. Bleh. But then, like the other day, I went to the gym and I was like, I'm gonna keep it 100. I went to the most attractive women in that gym at that time. I just walked up to them and started the conversation, and I just did that just to see if I could do it. And I was just like, I just went and did it. Not just that, but I talked to anybody who gives me eye contact. I would just start a conversation. I even did it today. My confidence is just getting out there. So, relatively speaking, there's going to be a lot of difference between how I feel now and when I actually get all the weight off. But compared to how it was before, it's already night and day. And even that actually surprised me as well. I wouldn't have expected it to be so different already. But even just the little 40 pounds that I've done, it's been a world of
Well,
difference, and there's
yeah.
lots more to go.
And I don't want to play down the fact that 40 pounds or say that it's not a lot, but hearing you talk about that and the smile on your face when you're talking about the confidence growing, it's just amazing. And this is what I can imagine. And obviously I didn't know you when you weighed less or before you kind of locked yourself away for years to eat and just be a bit recluse, if I'm honest,
Mm.
as you've
Yeah.
described it.
Mm.
But I get the impression what you've just explained there is the real Jamal. That's the real you who is looking forward to really revealing yourself more to the rest of the world and being that person. Because as I said, watching your videos, listening to the way you speak and your content, it's almost as if like there's a different person there. You feel trapped probably
Yeah.
by the your weight and what it's stopping you from doing. So
Mm.
it's really incredible. I'm really happy about this story that you've just shared. It's really nice to hear.
I've felt like a different person inside for over a year now. Like the person inside me, I'm waiting for my body to catch up with the person that I am inside.
It's really
That's the
interesting
way I felt.
because for so many people, they'll go on a weight loss journey and they have to wait for their mind to catch up with their weight loss. Like for a lot
Mm.
of people, they will have body dysmorphia in which, they've
Yeah.
lost the weight, they still feel overweight, they still feel self conscious. But it sounds like your mindset is in exactly the right space.
That's also why I say stuff like I don't say it on purpose, but that's why I say stuff like little 40 pounds that I've lost because in my mind, I should be all the way there at the 200 range already. That's the person I see in my mind. So I don't really I don't really see it as taking little steps, one day at a time. I'm like, I need to get going. I got to get to where I'm supposed to be. So
That's
that's kind of
brilliant.
how my mind works. Like, I don't even like to talk about my mindset too much because people think I'm crazy. And and I think for the most part, a lot of successful people call them crazy anyway. So
Ah,
maybe that's partially what it takes. But
I
like,
think
yeah,
mindset is the absolute key.
yeah,
And if you can change your mindset and start to harness some of that self belief and lean in to that confidence that so many people will wait until they've achieved their goal before they give themselves permission to actually feel. If you can start leaning into that, start imagining yourself as that person that you're going to be
yeah.
and generating that confidence momentum now, it's
Mm,
only going to accelerate your journey and get you there quicker. So
yeah.
I 100% agree with that and love your energy around that. It's really inspiring. So thank you for sharing that. How are you doing it, Jamal? How are you losing the weight and getting fitter?
Calorie deficit, and my diet is for the most part keto,
Okay.
so low carbs. I aim for around 200 to 210 grams of protein every day, every single day, and I keep the fat super low and I keep the carbs almost non-existent. The calories I eat every day is just a little over 1,000. That's it, and I eat one time a day. Other than that, I train almost every day. On average, I average around 6 times a week. When I first started, when I was 530 something pounds and I could barely walk, all I did was clean my house.
Okay.
And I'll share this with you since a lot of people who watch this, you said, are looking for ideas or inspiration. If you're a big dude, if you're an overweight guy
Or girl.
or woman, the chances are your house is probably kind of dirty because you ain't getting up to clean it often, are you? You're probably just, lazing around. So you can start by cleaning your house. That's what I did. I actually spent 4 days alone, not 4 days straight, maybe like an hour or two a day. But I spent like 4 days just cleaning my kitchen, deep cleaning it, like proper getting into all the crevices and looking at every single speck of dirt and being like, yeah, I could clean that a little bit. Yeah, I could do that. Like proper, just basically just moving, standing up and moving. That's how I started. Eventually, I started just walking in my apartment and now I'm in the gym almost every day. But as long as you're moving and you're on your feet and you're active, you can absolutely burn calories. And I was sweating just from cleaning my kitchen. And my kitchen ain't that big either. It's just all the scrubbing, all the wiping, the washing, everything. Just being on my feet and doing things, I was burning calories. And then on top of that, like I said, I've limited myself to around 1,000 calories a day. And I try to incorporate 200 grams of protein in that because they say you should have a gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight.
Hmm.
And my ideal body weight right now is 200 pounds. So that's why I aim for 200 grams of protein. Hope that makes sense.
Jamal, 1,000 calories sounds awfully low.
Yeah.
How are you managing with that? Especially after what I would imagine for years you were used to eating thousands of calories every day.
Yeah. Oh, I'm glad you asked that because I've got a pretty good point to make.
I'll go for it.
And this is very important. And I'm very proud of this because I made it up. It's not something I saw online or some guru said. Not like, there's lots of people saying you could, how to lose weight, you could do this, you could do that. I made this up, so I'm proud of it. What I do is when I get paid every month, pay my bills, buy my shopping, do what I gotta do, buy this, buy that, if I need some socks, I'll buy that and wear it. And I'll take that money that's left and I'll put it into a savings account. Now, this savings account, the one I use specifically, in order to take money out of it, I have to give them 7 days of notice. So if I wanted money right now, I could, message them online right now and say, I need £50. And they'll say, screw you. You made the decision to use this account. You're not getting it until next week. And there's nothing I can do about it. And I have no other access to money unless I was to ask, a family member or go out on the street and pull out a guitar and start playing Wonderwall for people. So That's how putting myself through in a position where it's almost impossible to fail, because no matter what pain and suffering or cravings I go through, which I did at first, there's only healthy food in my kitchen anyway. All I got is chicken breasts and vegetables and pickles and water. So what am I supposed to do? And I'm not going to be eating 10,000 calories of chicken breast and broccoli, because that's disgusting. You're just not going to do it. So I basically, and I've heard, I can't remember where I've heard this word, but it's a word I like. I basically create as much friction as possible between me and making bad decisions. And that's what's keeping me locked in, and that's what's kept me dialed in the last few weeks. I'd make sure that it's so difficult for me to make some bad decisions. I even came up with another one, and this was something I came up in the last few days, especially since I've started going to the gym. Because everywhere you go, you see shiny advertisements and signs and saying, buy this and buy that, and we got this discount here, this new burger here. You know what I'm saying? Subway, McDonald's, everything. There's signs everywhere. Hard work. So now what I figured out, because I get a bus, I can just get a bus travel card, put my money for the month on the card so I can get back and forth for the whole month. And then I don't even have to bring my bank card with me. I don't even have to have any money with me. I can still pay for my bus with the actual bus card. And I don't need to bring my bank card with extra money for the bus, because it's already prepaid. Again, putting as much friction as possible between me and bad decisions. And the way I figure these things out is just kind of like a business, basically. Like, I treat it like a business in a way, because a business doesn't just do things randomly. They do things based on data. So when something happens, which a business likes, they'll learn from it and they'll grow. If something happens which is not beneficial for the business, they'll learn from it and change. So when I've had issues, so with with the savings account thing, my main issue was I get sudden cravings and I just end up buying junk food. So I
Mhm.
figured that I need to figure out a way to stop that. My solution, put it into a savings account. So now when I get those sudden urges to make bad decisions, there's nothing I could do about it, because I don't have no access to money. So I just sit and deal with it. And eventually it's not really a problem anymore. You just get over it. And it's like, why was I even craving that thing so badly? It's kind of silly. So I just figure out ways to put friction between myself and bad decisions. And I think that's a really effective way which anybody can learn from. Right. If you do make a bad decision, if you do buy something which you shouldn't have bought, figure out why that happened and figure out what to do about it for next time. And every time something bad happens, keep doing that. And that's where you get to the stage where it becomes very, very difficult to not succeed.
And he says he's not a motivational speaker. Come on. This
Yeah.
is this is
Yeah.
absolutely immense. No, but do you know what? It's incredible to hear that, because I think you're absolutely right. And what you're doing is accepting that there are going to be difficult moments. But instead, because so many people, myself included, for a lot of years, would just tell myself that I'm just gonna restrict myself. I'm gonna pretend that I'm not gonna want a burger, or it's gonna get to Friday night and I'm not gonna want to order a pizza because I'm on a diet. So I'm just not gonna do it and hope that willpower gets me through. And it really does. It might work for the first week, second week, but there'll come that time where it's like, I'm fed up now, and I'll do it. And
Yeah.
then that's where a lot of people fail, because they rely on the motivation to get them through. But you're actually implementing stages and things to do to create that friction, to make it difficult. So you've got cravings and you just end up ordering something with your bank card, you're taking your money away.
Mm.
If you worry that you're gonna have to carry cash on your bus ride, you bought a bus card. It's just intelligent and a very clever way of doing it. And I think, like you said, accepting that these things will happen and then finding ways to stop it being a problem is how you're going to succeed. That's how you really create habit change, because
Hmm.
you're removing those barriers, or actually creating barriers between you and the thing that you want to change. So that's
Yeah.
really insightful, Jamal. That's really good. And I think, I mean, you're making big moves, you're doing great things. And there must still be things that challenge you outside of the actual eating. How about, staying motivated? How about making sure that you go to the gym? How are you doing that? You, what kind of commitments have you made to yourself?
Well, for me, I've picked, I basically picked the most difficult and intrusive way of staying accountable that I think you could possibly pick.
Showing it to the world.
Not just that, but I make videos every day. And for the last 2 weeks, I haven't missed a day. And on top of that, I do my weigh-ins. I do a weigh-in once a week. I show that to the world. And I don't just do a weigh-in, I do it on a live stream on my YouTube channel. There's no way for me to get around it. Oh, and on top of that, I just started to do a video where I record myself, my whole body with my shirt off, and I do a 360 turn. I did that on the first day as well, so I can do a side by side comparison. So I'm showing my weight in a live stream, and I'm showing exactly what I look like from a whole 360 body composition view once a week, every Sunday. And I make videos every day. So I picked the most intrusive and difficult way of staying accountable you could possibly do. Yes, there's of course there's going to be challenges, and there's always times where, like even today, I went to the gym today, but that was hard because when I woke up today, I put on my headphones and I realized one of my headphones had gone and it stopped working. And I hate gym music. Like I've never been to a gym and there's good music, so I'm like, I don't feel like going to the gym and hearing the music. So that almost made me not want to go. And then when I actually finally got out and started going to the gym, I realized I forgot my gym t-shirt. So I had to turn back around and decide when I got home to actually go back up. And believe me, that was difficult, but
But
I
you
still
did
went
it.
and done it.
Good man.
Yeah.
Good
And
man.
then, and I think what's helping me, like I said, is the fact that I'm making videos every day. And no one's told me that I have to do that. That's just a decision that I've made. And I've decided that I'm going to stick to it. And because of that, I know I need to get some footage. So I'm going to better go to the gym.
Brilliant. I love how you're finding ways to create accountability,
Yeah.
and also having some fun while you do it as well as helping thousands of other people. You talking about the headphones of the gym is such a, I think it must happen to so many people. Like as soon as, if ever I'm in the gym in my headphones, I hear that
Mm,
noise where the battery's low, you get low battery, like, oh, can I finish my
yeah.
workout before the music stops?
Yeah.
But I've been to the gym and forgot my pass to get in, so I've had to go back. And yeah, it's really the connections or the meaning that you give to the gym or what actually motivates you to go there is different for everybody. But I think we all have these little things, these little triggers. But again, you're just slaying them one by one. It's absolutely fantastic. So as your journey to reaching your goal, and I'm not saying it's going to be linear, but is your plan linear in terms of what you're going to do? Are you just going to maintain on the low calories, hitting the gym every day, keeping yourself accountable with content, and just keep going on repeat day after day until you get to your goal?
Yes.
That's it.
Next question.
Brilliant. That is it. There's no doubt in your mind either, is there? That is it. You've got the plan in there. I think it's amazing. And I usually wrap up the episode, Jamal, with asking the guest if they've got a single piece of advice that they would share. Now you've already given so much, so I don't know
Yeah.
if you've got anything else, but is there anything else that you could share with the Weight Loss Warrior podcast listeners?
Yeah, I mean, I think I've already said it, but just to reiterate, is figure out what is the issue. Treat it as a business and figure out a solution to that. Like Coca-Cola, they've got competition, they've got Prime Energy who just came out of nowhere. I'm sure they were looking at Prime Energy and thinking, we got to do something about this. How can we adapt to put them out of business and make sure that we keep going? Treat it like that. When you've got things things that cause you to mess up or slip up, figure out what that was and figure out a solution to it. There was a brother I was talking to a few days ago on Instagram. He told me that his major trigger or the thing that's stopping him from being in the weight that he wants to be is the food that's in his house. And it's not actually something that he's doing to himself. It's actually his wife that's doing it. His wife is cooking the foods. His wife is in charge of the shopping and the things that come in and things like that. And I told him straight, man, you have to take charge of that situation. You have to take control and sort that out. But that is a problem right there, and only you can do something about it. And you need to figure out a solution to it. Like if you really actually want to get healthy, because some people say they do, but they don't really want to put in the work to do it. You're gonna have to be prepared to make sacrifices. And I show things I show stuff on my content. Like I show myself eating dry chicken. I show myself eating chicken blended in water. And people are like, oh, why do you do that stuff? Why do you keep doing that stuff? I'm like, because I'm suffering and I'm putting myself through pain. And to a degree, that is what it might take. Be prepared to go for a degree of pain and suffering for a period of time. And when there are things which are causing you to not reach your goals, figure out what that is and figure out solutions to it. But there's always going to be a solution, and you just have to keep adapting and keep making changes as you go along. And eventually you're going to get to a place like me where it becomes very very difficult to fill, and it gets really fun as well. So just keep trying, everybody, and keep pushing.
That's amazing advice. And I think, I one that stands out in my head was talking to someone who kept, whenever it got to Friday night or it got to the evenings, they'd end up going on their phone and ordering some food using, Uber Eats or anything like that. Delete the apps, get
Yeah.
rid of them,
Friction.
create the friction, delete
Yeah.
your
Block it.
delete
You
your
can block
accounts,
those now.
and
Yeah.
do that. But like you said, it's going to be different for everybody else, but everyone's going to have those. And I think you have to really ask yourself as well, like, how much do you want it? Because a lot of us will use certain excuses. Like the one you said, the person you were talking to, and I'm not saying it was an excuse, and we don't know what decision he took on that, but it could be quite easy to go, oh, I want to lose weight, but I'm not cooking the food. So what do? I can't change that. But you have
Hmm.
to find a way to change it. Otherwise,
Right.
things won't change. So
Cool.
yeah, Jamal, absolutely brilliant. How do people find you on? It sounds like it's going to be difficult for people not to find you. I feel like I've been under a rock this last months, not discovering you until today.
It's been 3 weeks. It just went. I put up a few videos on Instagram, and it just went poof. And then it's like on 60,000 right now. TikTok's like 40,000. YouTube is doing pretty well. We did a live stream last Sunday and had record numbers on the live streams. Everything is just blowing up. So no, you ain't been under the rock. It's just the rock wasn't there until now. But yeah, on Instagram, I'm Jamal Get Right underscore, all one word. Jamal Get Right underscore. Same on TikTok, Jamal Get Right underscore, and on YouTube, just Jamal Get Right. You can find me there. So yeah, let's connect, guys. I answer all my DMs, and believe me, my DMs are crazy. But I try to answer every single one of them. So feel free to hit me up, and if I can help you, I will do my best.
That's really, really much appreciated. And I'll, of course, put links to all of your socials there so people can connect with you and ask questions if they've got any for you. Jamal, thank you so much for being this week's Weight Loss Warrior. It's been a pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate you, man, and all the best.
To you too. Take care, brother. Bye bye.
Let's get right.